Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talk to Rami. I am so excited today because I have a special guest in the studio. Sal Famous is here, and he came all the way from Dallas to be in the show, which is I'm grateful. You all know that I'm all about the stories, and his story is phenomenon, and we all gonna listen to him and get to know him. He's an amazing artist, entrepreneur, and above all, he's got a big heart to give to people. Sal, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you for having me.
Man, we were talking about this for a long time, and finally you were down in Austin and you were sitting here. What a pleasure.
The gods willed it, so I'm here.
I love it,
happy.
man. I love it. And first of all, let me say thank you for your beautiful gift. I have the shirt, guys, and I have the painting up there. It matches, and I love it. I love it.
Yep.
You can go to his website and check all his products and what he's doing. But we're gonna get to know you, man. What's going on? Who is Sal Famous?
Sal's Famous is, thank you again for having me. This is a real big honor. This is really fun. It's been a really cool trip down to Austin. I've had a lot of cool experiences. It's only day one. So
Austin is great.
Sal's Famous is a young kid from East Dallas. Not a young kid anymore, but a young kid from East Dallas, birthed from two parents that were working very, very hard. One was a snappy Puerto Rican woman that was born in Puerto Rico, raised in New York. Picked herself up from her bootstraps, joined the Job Corps in Dallas, and basically had a weekend car and a weekday car. Met my dad, a Mexican guy from East Dallas, Mexican descent, hard worker, came from a hard-working family. And then next thing you know, one thing led to another, and they had me and my sister. So Sal's Famous is an East Dallas kid that just learned hard work and grew up in the fashion industry and struggled up until 7 years into my career and found art. It's kind of the overlay of everything, and then I know you'll get into the details.
I know. How was your life while you were growing up? Yeah, the environment, because as you know, everything is about our environment.
Right.
That will shape us.
Right.
Make us to a new person, better person, or worse person.
Right.
How was your environment? Because you went through a lot. We were talking off camera, and you mentioned something, but can you tell us a little bit? What was it look like?
So, growing up, I'm a product of the '80s. I was born in '82. So, a lot of kids in the '80s, their parents got divorced. So,
was it the norm?
A lot of my friends, a lot of their parents are divorced. So, and if your parents stayed together, it was very rare. And the reason why I bring this up is because I grew up a little fucked up in that I saw a really not healthy relationship between my mother and my father. A lot of fighting, a lot of yelling, nothing physical, but just a lot of fights and disagreements, and you should be doing this, and why you keep telling me this, I'm gonna do this, da 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 da. So before my parents got divorced, though, I had a really cool childhood. I always had a big imagination. I always played with my little muñecos, my little toys, and setting up little scenarios, fight scenes out of movies and stuff that I would watch as a kid. And it was nice, and both my parents worked as hard as they could. I just did without a lot of things. I was lower middle class. There's not a lower middle class anymore. It's just lower, barely a middle, and then high up. So we were lower middle class, and it was cool. I had a really good childhood, and then my parents got divorced, and then things got confusing, and things got oh shit, mom doesn't love dad anymore, and now dad has a new wife, and now my mom's got a new husband, and they're trying to tell me what to do, and nobody fucking tells me what to do, and you know what I mean? Had a real kind of attitude about me, and just kind of trying to find my way. And I think that really kind of spawned a little bit of inconsistencies in me, because I was able to play one parent against the other. So if I didn't get one thing from one parent, then I'd go spend the weekend with the other parent and be like, can I go out with my friends tonight? And they would say yes. You know what I mean? So
okay, you left, you live with your parents, and after that, I'm sure you get out of the house, and now what? Now what happened?
So graduated from Arts Magnet in Dallas. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. My sister went to college. She did all the right things. She made all the good grades. She moved to, got accepted a full scholarship ride at Pratt Institute, which is a really prestigious art school. I didn't get anything. I barely graduated. I got accepted to School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. Couldn't afford it. She got a full ride just because she was a good student. And then I was like, I got to get out of Dallas. I got to get out of Texas. Because a lot of my friends were like, they were having families. They were just getting a regular job. I just knew that I was destined for something else, or I didn't want to have a regular job, a regular 9 to 5 like my dad and my mom. She cuts hair, so she kind of made her own hours. So I was like, I got to get out of here. And my cousin at the time lived in Boston, lived in Roxbury. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to live with him because I got to get out of here. I got to do something, shake it up.
Why you want to get out of there?
Just because I felt like if I stayed here, it wouldn't be good. I probably would have knocked up a girl, then I would have been stuck. You know what I mean? Not that that's bad. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. So I caught a flight out to Boston, started working at a retail, like a high-end retail store out there, and just had no direction. And then it wasn't really working for me. So I was like, I'm going to go back to Dallas. Came back to Dallas. Then I was like, oh, my sister lives in New York. And New York is the epicenter for fashion and arts, all sorts of crazy stuff. I knew I wanted to do something creative. I thought it was fashion. So then my sister and I, we were close, very close at the time. I went up there. We started doing our own online fashion thing. I was like, oh, this is cool. But I wasn't really loving it. And started working as a clothing rep. Wasn't really loving that either. And then after a while, I started getting into what they call boosting, which is stealing. So I started having a buddy of mine ship high-end shoes from down here to New York, and I was selling them. And I was making like a couple grand a week. It wasn't good. Yeah, it's not good. I don't condone this because the whole thing is what you put out there, you get back. So I've paid my dues.
You believe that?
I do. I pay my dues. And in a weird way too, the universe, I believe, this is going to sound like rah woo woo stuff, but the universe, I believe, balances things. So if you're doing really good, it'll make you go through some shit because it's got to balance you. Life can't be cherries and gumdrops all the time. You got to eat a little shit because it's a learning experience. You know what I mean? And this last thing that I went through recently with my little dog, it's like something very minor, but it destroyed me. But I'm like, oh, it's testing me now. It's going to see if I can keep my mind right to when I go to Austin to meet Rami, to come on his podcast and deliver and lights on. This is what you want in your career. These are the people that you need to meet. You're not going to shut down your life and let something small, minor keep you from, you know what I mean, doing what you're destined to be. But that's how you know when things are about to get better, is when things get hard. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I put all that negative energy out there, stealing. You know, I dealt drugs a little bit when I came back to Dallas, and I jumped into the hair industry, and I started selling some coke on the side. This is a while ago now. I just was misguided, misdirected. Ended up being like, I don't want to be in New York anymore. It's getting too hard. People would call it quitting, but I just was like, it's not for me anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to recalibrate. So then moved back down to Dallas, started doing hair. Once I started doing hair, something in me was like, hey, like, remember in high school when you used to paint? Like, you should do that again. And I was like, and it stayed with me for like weeks. And then I told one of my best mates that at a bar I would go to all the time. His name is Rick, and he's from Australia. And I told him, I was like, hey, Rick, I don't know why, because he's a musician. And we're talking about music and comic books. We both like comic books. And I go, you know, it's so funny. I love this illustrations. I want to paint. Like, I love painting. I'm not as talented as these comic book illustrators, but I love painting. He's like, you know what, mate, you should do that. And I was like, yeah, I should do that. What the like a light went off. And fast forward, like a week or two later, I couldn't afford any canvases. I was broke. And so I took all these Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's a beer. I smashed all the cartons that the cans come in, and I stapled them all on the back wall of my apartment at the time. And I painted on top of it. And I painted like this crazy shit. It was a homage to Jean-Michel Basquiat, my favorite painter, that style. Yeah. People look at that, they probably think that's who that is, which, I mean, that's me gassing my own head, but you know what I mean? So so then I just took pictures, and then when people would ask what I'm up to, I'd just be like, oh, I picked up a hobby. What the hobby? Oh, painting. Cool. What is it? Can I see? And I'm like, sheepish. Didn't want to really show them. Showed them. This is really good. And I'm like, man, you're full of shit. Like, whatever. Just gassing me. Whatever. I'm not believing it, right? And then one day I'm doing this woman's hair at a place called Dry Bar in North Park Mall in Dallas. And she's getting her hair done, and a lot of straight guys who do hair, they like, women want to know what they're up to. They just do. It's like a flirty thing. It's really sweet. So doing this woman's hair, she kept looking back. She's like, what do you like to do besides, you know, drink and hang out and whatever? Like, tell me something fun that you do besides the norm. And I go, well, I'm just getting into painting again. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. She's like, can I see? I was like, sure. Showed it to her. I'm thinking she's going to be like, give me the phone back. She looks back. She goes, can you do a painting for my husband for his 50th? I'll commission you. I'm like, what? I just had started painting like a month or two. I go, okay. And mind you, at this time, I was such a skeevy guy. I was doing hair unlicensed for several years. I just would bullshit my way. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to get it to you. It's at my mom's. I'm at my dad's right now. I got to go to my mom. She lives in Rockwall. I have to go get it. And I was so, I'm saying this very lightly. I was, I guess, charming enough to weasel my way around it every month to not show them my license that was expired by like 4 years or 3 years. So my point is, this was around that time when they started grilling me about my license. So I do this commission for this woman. After I brokered the deal, I told her I want $5,000 for it. My dad at the time was like, don't say that. Say like 500 or $1,000. You'll be lucky just to do something that, you know what I mean? And I was like, no, I feel like my artwork is going to be worth this much, not if not today, one day. So I'm going to quote this. She tells me I can't afford that much. So I go, okay, what's in the middle? 3,500. 3,500. Deal. Can I give you half now? I'm like, yes. And then when I closed with her, I was like, I just made way more money than I would make in 4 or 5 months doing dry bar hair, getting paid $10 an hour plus maybe a tip, which is, if you're lucky, $10. So I was like going back to work, like, I'm getting paid dog shit to do hair. My wrist is hurting from the blow dryer, you know, stuff like that. First world problems. But you know what I mean? I was like, I could do this full time. And literally like that weekend, one of the girls who was a complete jerk to me, she just hated me. I think she just thought I was masculine toxicity or something. She hated me. She was like, I need to see your license right now. And I'm like, in North Park Mall is, let's pretend it's here. There's a highway, and then there's the DART station. And I was catching the DART every day and after work every night. And I have to cross the highway over an overpass to get to the DART station, right? So I'm at work. She's like, I need to see your license right now. And I go, okay, I'll get it for you. I'll be right back. And this is in the back office. I walk out. I take off my apron, fucking throw it down. I just walk out the front door, and the owner has my number. She calls me, and she's sweet. Her name is Shannon. I love her forever. She's always very nice to me, and I was always bitching and complaining about something. I was a really not nice guy, like just toxic. Black pilled is what they call it. The world is doomed. This sucks, blah, blah, right? She calls me, and this is as I'm turning the page to a new chapter to being positive. She calls me, Sal, I need you to come back. If you don't come back, you can never work here again. And something in me was like, burn the boats to take the island. And I go, Shannon, I don't want to come back. This is exactly why I'm leaving. Thank you so much. Goodbye. And I hung up, and I caught the DART. And then after that, homeless.
You went homeless after that. You said, I'm done.
Because I burned that money trying to create new art and also going to the bars and networking and kind of crashing on my dad's couch, kind of crashing with my mom for a week. But then they were like, you need to go do something else. You need to get a job. They just kept telling me, you need to get a job, a regular job. Like, they'll deny it now because they're proud and I'm not living at their house or anything, or I'm not on the street anymore. But they were like, you need to get a job. I'm like, no, I believe in this. And I remember telling my mom, specifically, I was in her garage in Rockwall, and it was like now, like 105, sweating with like a tea, just sweating, just paint. Put the worst part about painting, which is not even bad, is putting the bases on, because I'm like, this is fucking wasted time. The real art is what you see on top.
Yeah.
Excuse me. My mom's coming out. She's like, honey. My mom's from New York, so she kind of has that sound to her voice. She's like, honey. I'm like, yeah, what's up? She's like, when are you gonna get a job? And I'm like, Ma, trust me, everything's cool. I got this. She's like, when are you gonna get a job? Now, can you imagine, flip side, if my kid told me that, I'd be like, you're gonna be broke for the rest of your life. But I go, Ma, I said, let me tell you something. And I almost choked up telling her. I said, nobody gives a fuck about me right now or what I do. But I guarantee you one day somebody will give a fuck about me and what I do, and that's my art. And I that day I go, motherfucker, you better make it now. You better make it now. Make that woman proud. Show her that you got it. And my dad. So I just went off on a tangent. Did I even answer your question?
Yes, no, you did, and I just want to say I'm so grateful and appreciate for you, that how you open up to this, because I can tell you, a lot of people that are listening to this or watching, they're going through the same shit, and somebody doesn't believe them. They love for what they're gonna do or the vision and the goal in their mind, but they not seen it, or they seen it. Right. Nobody else will believe in it. Right. And then you went through that with knowing the people around you, they did not believe you what you were trying to do. Right. But you did it anyway. Correct. You went through the hoops. You went through the shit, as you said. Yeah. You became a homeless, and you did that. But that's unbelievable. I wish all the people were thinking like that it is possible.
Yeah. And Rami, I was listening to something. I listen to all sorts of things that give me all sorts of energy and positivity, and like I can draw from certain things like, oh, that's so true. Like I wish more people knew this, that, and the third. And one of the things I heard was the biggest deniers or haters, if you want to call them that, but they're not really haters because you'll get my point, is basically like it's going to be family members. Those are going to be the worst ones that are going to attack you the most, because they're like, what are you doing with your life? Because they didn't have, in what I call, they didn't put their balls on the table. And if you're putting your balls on the table, that takes courage. And not everybody's got courage. You know what I mean? And so when they see you doing it, they see themselves in you, whether it be your parent, your uncle, your aunt, your grandparents. And they're like, wait a minute, I couldn't do this. Why are they doing it? What makes them so special? That's not as cut and dry as that. But to me, that's how I see it, is like, your family members are going to challenge you the most. They're going to be the biggest deniers of you. Case in point, I love my father, but I told somebody the other day on the street that knows him, your dad's so proud of you, blah, 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 blah. I go, did you know, I've been doing this 7 years now. This year, for the first time, he's talking to his friends about Sal's Famous, showing them the shirt, showing them the painting. Look at his Instagram. That's my boy. You know what I mean? I'm like, where was he for those 6? But maybe that's what I needed. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Do you think he was ashamed of it, like talking about you and like what you do, or?
Okay, so
what was it? What do you think was it?
So on my father's side, there's a very artistic family. So my uncle back in the day made it in the 70s. And I know people are probably going to hear this. Oh, that's why you are making it. It's because your uncle. No. He made it, and he didn't teach. What's the saying? Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Show him how to fish, he can eat for the rest of life, right?
Yep.
He gave the man a fish. He gave the fish to my family, bought us the house. My dad was raised right. That's why he's still in my life. Thank the gods, I'm blessed. But what ended up happening is hard, strong men create good times create soft men create hard times. So he made them soft. He didn't teach them, hey, you can make it. He didn't instill the value, the worth of, hey, we come from an artistic family. We're different, right? You can do this. Let me show you. Let me introduce you to da-da-da. He didn't do any of that. He goes, no, I didn't want y'all to go through that, because he went through it. He had to struggle to make it. So my uncle, we come from an artistic family. So everybody loved him, and he was so famous back in the day. And then trickle down, but he was a musician, right? Trickle down, I had other cousins and uncles that were in bands that were kind of, big deal in Dallas, but didn't really pop. So I think with my dad in particular, I think it was more like he saw his uncle make it. So that was it. Like after that, we hit it one time. I think we're going to move on. So now he wants his son to follow in his footsteps. This is just my theory. I want my son to follow in my footsteps. So if he's trying to make it big like my uncle did, there's no way he can do that. Not in my lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, I saw this happen once before. It can't happen again. Lightning can't strike twice, right? With my mom, I just think it's hard. But I think both parents actually too. I mean, I'm not making sense probably, but I think it might be both parents. Like just hard work. They believe in you have to do the 9 to 5 or there's only 2 roads to get to something. Work hard, or you do something creative, but it has to be within like doing hair, or you know what I mean? Like it's got to be something where you have to come and check into work to have the people pay you. You know what I mean? And doing hair and dressing people, that's an art in itself. But it's not. Painting is hard. You have to sell your shit to people. Like they're just not gonna love it.
They're coming to you here. You got to go to them.
Yeah.
But is it very hard for you what other people thinking about you as a judgment? Is that it scares you?
No.
Or do you care?
I don't care.
care?
I do care sometimes. Sometimes I'm
Still?
human. Sometimes, yeah, I care.
Why?
Like I care what you think. Like people I respect.
Oh yeah.
I care what you think.
We give you feedback, but I love your work, man. It's just, but the reason I'm saying a lot of us happened to me too. Trust me, all of us, we stuck.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and we are just trying to do something that makes other people happy or get their permission to what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But we're not doing what we love to do.
Right.
And not give a fuck about what other people think.
Right.
And when you get to that point that you really don't care about what other people thinking about you, that's the time you're growing. And then you raise your standards.
Yeah.
Everything is happening.
Yeah.
You, my friend, one point in your life, even you don't see it, I can hear it in your soul that you really raise your standards. In one point in your life, you said, that's it.
Yep.
This is not going to happen. I'm not going to do this shit. I'm going to quit. I want to go do what I love. And you believed it. The most important thing is to believe yourself.
For sure.
Because other people, you can't change it.
Yeah.
The most important thing that you did, I think this is my idea, my feedback, you believe yourself.
Right.
And that's so courageous. That's so important. Like, most of the people, they fail because they not believe in themselves.
Right. When you sleep on a bench or in a big ass workout tire and it's like
here you go. What is
30 degrees
Yeah.
and you don't have a blanket.
How many people do you think they can do that?
Not a lot.
How many people do you think they can do that and not giving up? No.
Not a lot.
You didn't give up. You just kept going. And I promise you, I'm not saying to, kind of, make you happy or kiss your ass, but I'm just saying that you're going to be out there.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can feel it. You're going to be out there. You're going to be there that I say, hey, that's my buddy. That's Sal.
Yeah.
We talk. We still talk. Oh, my God. Yeah, let me make a call. He might see you.
Yeah.
You get there. The only thing is to believe in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. It's like that.
Well, believe in yourself, but also you got to have good work and you have to keep pushing.
Of course.
And you have to make the relationships. It's all about relationships.
What you do is all about relationship. Yes. And as you mentioned earlier, is the people you hang around with.
Yes, of course. Yes. So funny. I have people to this day that I used to hang out with and they're like, you changed, da, da, da. I'm like, and I don't tell them this. I just kind of ignore the text.
You're the same person. You just raise your standards.
I'm the same person. It's just I don't decide to hang out with the same people because y'all are staying at the bar all day. Don't get me wrong. I like going to the bar too. But I'm not there all day, every day, 7 days a week. It's like, what do you guys aren't, I have to work. If I don't work, you think this happens overnight? You know what I mean? Like you have to push and also give of your gift. I like to give. I like to give a lot. Like, because the love you make is equal to the love you take. So the more I push it out there, I didn't make the rules, the universe. I'm just doing what the universe is like. Hey man, you give to people, it comes back to you. It just does. I don't do it expecting something back. I do it just because I'm like, I feel good. And then down the line, I know the universe will take care of me. I'm not going to be without anymore.
But most of the people, they're not making it because they're not open to opportunities. We talk about that.
Right.
Like they think people, they're going to come to them and say, hi, Sal, how you doing?
Correct.
Can I buy it from you?
Correct.
No, you got to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to give. You give, you shall receive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. You got to get out there. You got to say who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And it's giving is always better than receiving.
For sure.
You create a better life for yourself and the people around you.
Yep.
And the universe, as you said, will respond.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're out there. You're giving with no expectation.
Yeah.
And, when you open your heart and mind to other people, you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't. And you just got to go in, like you said, you just got to go in with an open heart. And then that's honestly how you build your new team, your circle of people.
That's how it's going to happen. Like, we were talking about having this podcast. We reach out to you on the Instagram. We love your work. I'm an artist too. I just kind of sometimes write. But it's phenomenon when people, they come together, what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you come together with transparency and help each other, and have a good tension, everything is gonna happen.
Yeah.
People, these days they are so selfish, Sal. The first thing you say, how can I do this? What can I get out of Sal?
Right.
Okay, yeah. I said, no. How can I help Sal? By helping Sal, I'm helping myself. Sal, by helping others, he's helping himself.
Correct.
It's just simple. It's not like it's not in mathematics. It's not sending a rocket to the moon. It's just be who you are and do the right things and give. That's simple.
Yeah.
And they love what you do. It's happening. But, you know, I listened to other couple of your podcasts you had in the different shows. You talk about your past openly. Why you do that?
I think
Because a lot of people don't.
Yeah. I think I think people respect authenticity, but also more importantly, I feel like there's someone out there that looks like me or doesn't, and they're like, my thing is for the Black and Latino people, like young kids that like don't think they can do anything else but rap or whatever, play whatever they do. You can do other things and be successful at it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be necessarily being an artist. You don't have to be a graffiti artist. You can be a fine artist. That's why, like, I'm truly myself. This is me, and I'm rolling around a bunch of hoity-toity people that come from wealthy backgrounds that have trust funds, and they look nothing like me. And it's funny when they go, "This is my artist," and their other friends that look like them are looking like, "What? Like, who's this guy? Like, he looks like a tattoo guy." You know what I mean? Like, so I think I'm doing it for the younger kid that is going through what I'm going through. And then they're like, wait, he can do it? And he comes from where I come from maybe or not. And comes from a divorced family where the parents are doubting them and they want to do something creative, but their family, they come from a family of mechanics and they just work hard and break their backs all day. But they're like, I want to do something different. I want to break this cycle. That's who I'm doing it for.
Where that vision comes from? Like, what is your vision for the future?
To leave a legacy.
Define legacy.
Damn, challenging me.
I want to see what is your
my vision,
definition of legacy, because I have a different one.
My definition of legacy is just something that, that can just, people just look at what I left on this universe, on this planet when I'm gone, which will be a long time from now. And they feel happy. They feel inspired. They go, wow, how did he do that? They want to see maybe the documentary or listen to this podcast and try to dive into the crazy brain and like, how did he get into it? And then what's his process, all this stuff. I want them to look at my artwork and just feel love, inspired, feel like, oh man, I want to see videos of him painting. That's what I did with Jean-Michel Basquiat. That's my hero. I watch all those documentaries.
You do?
Yeah, and all the young lady you met, my chick, she can vouch for this. I'll sit there and I'll watch because he inspires me so much. That's his legacy to me. Now, my legacy, my job is to leave that for somebody else. You got to pass it back to somebody. That's why I believe we're here as humans, as hoity-toity or whatever cliche as it sounds. Our job is to leave it, to pass it back, so then they can inspire somebody else. You know what I mean? So.
But and I'm so happy you mentioned that. We kind of align here, but I think the legacy is what you do today, and its long-term effect. Like the long-term effect that what you do today, what kind of long-term effect it has for the future, which is for you, is a painting. For you, it's that piece of art that after 100 years you're gone and they said, oh, that's Sal famous work. And did you know that there's a story about this painting? That's the long-term effect that you're going to have in the society or the generation to come. But unfortunately, again, a lot of people, they don't think about legacy. They think that it's all material, just make the money and all that stuff. Have a private jet. Those are good, but it's not a legacy because, you haven't seen a U-Haul behind the hearse.
Yes, correct.
Have you seen any?
You're right. Absolutely right.
Steve Jobs is gone. No, didn't take anything. We came naked, we go out naked. That's it. What we leave behind, as you said, that's important.
Yes.
What Sal leaves behind for other generation, that's important. For your kids, for the future generation, that they're not believing the dream will come true, but you'll be a motivation. You'll be a source of imagination for it.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get it. And
Yeah.
it's sad, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. This was years ago. I had an artist approach me, and she's very sweet, and she had a certain style, and I go, "Do you like that style?" She's like, "Yes." I said, "Stay with it, because that's who you are, right?" She comes to me not even 6 months later. She goes, "Sal, I don't understand. How do you make money at what you do?" And I go, "I don't know what you mean," because I really don't. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "How do you sell art?" I go, "I just do what I love, and I work hard at it. It sounds whatever, but I'm like, this is how I do it." And she's like, "I just want to make money doing it, da 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 da." And when she walked away, I was like, she'll never make money full-time doing art, because her goal is money. It's not to create and share and share your gift that you were given with the masses. I fell into a little rut when I went to Nashville. I take big swings, I take big misses. And I was going there for a specific reason. Everybody canceled on me. So we're there in Nashville for like a week just hanging out. I'm on a treadmill, I'm listening to Rogan. He has Jelly Roll on. Jelly Roll proceeds to tell Rogan a story about how when he made his first hit, Son of a Sinner, he wanted to recreate that magic. I need another hit. He was chasing the dragon. He realized at some point, and this is on the treadmill, and I'm thinking to myself, telling the universe, come on, man, I need a sign. I need a sign. Something's not clicking. Things are slowing down. And not that it's bad, but I'm like, something feels off. Because I was doing paintings before I went to Nashville to sell, to make some money to take with me to Nashville. I was doing art for money, which I never thought I'd do. And I lost focus. So Jelly Roll tells Joe Rogan, he goes, yeah, so he goes, I caught myself and I was like, you know what? We're going to take it back to the basics. We're going to take off of Music Row and we're going to go to the backwoods. We're going to build a studio and we're just going to go back to basics. And when he said that, it clicked. And I was like, that's what I was doing. Do what got you to the dance. And it wasn't about money. I was homeless. My chick met me when I was homeless, living out of my backpack. Hadn't showered then in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And stinky. Yeah. Smelly, but with a passion.
She's my hero.
Right? We need more heroes in this world.
I know.
But no. So basically, I took it back to the basics. And when we got back, I fucking just started rolling out art. Just boom, 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 boom. And just doing whatever the fuck I want to paint. Because that's how I started, Rami. I just started doing whatever. I grabbed a door one time from the trash with my ex-girlfriend back in the day when I first started. I took it home. I painted on it. I showed it to somebody on Instagram, and they're like, how much do you want for that? And I sold it for like $5,000.
Wow.
That's not a money story. That's the God's blessing me story, because I'm doing what I love.
You put yourself out there.
And I'm doing what I love. And trust the process. And there's a reason why things are happening for me. And yes, there's some things where I'm calculating things, but for the most part, I just give it up. And I do what got me to the dance.
And a lot of people, they want everything now, instant gratification. Like they want it, especially this generation.
Yeah,
they want
instant,
it,
sure.
They wanted everything now. They're not patient. What do you think is that?
I think it's just the shortening of like the attention span from social media, plus how the parents are raising them.
Is it gonna work?
I don't think so. But I think that's also why I'm gonna win. Because I'm going to outrun all these motherfuckers. Because they want it right now. They want it right now. I already know in my head, I got 3 more years before I get my 10,000 hours. I'm only 7 years in. Most people don't make it till after 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like a record or is that
it's just
data?
So it's basically like, I think.
This is the lifespan of an artist?
Of just, I forgot who broke it down because I'm drawing a blank. But someone said, and people can look into it, but like, if you work between 4 and 7 hours a day on your craft, multiply that every day by years, it comes to 10,000 hours. So if you look at like Kevin Hart's career, Oprah's career, they more than likely worked on it, this many hours a day. And then after 10 years, they all made it. Like everybody who's worked on a certain book writer, author, whatever their craft is, a carpenter, they open your own business. It doesn't really start popping till either close to or after 10 years. It's called the 10,000 hour rule. So I forgot where I heard it. Consistency. That's really it. And then there's times where I'm like a week or 2 weeks, like, oh shit, I haven't worked on any artwork. I gotta push some paint, and then what they call the Muse.
Do you remember any time that you said still I want to give up and I'm done
Mm-hmm.
to change. What happened? How did you get to that point?
I'm a human,
Oh,
so
we all, but
there-
for you, it's very important.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
You are a tough bastard. You know, it's just.
Thank you, Robbie.
I want to know. I want to know how you get to that point.
I think it's there'll be times. This is another part of the push the universe gives you to make sure you want it. Is I'll go 3 months without selling. I'll go 5 months. I mean, there's been times where it's like, the beginning of the year I don't sell anything till October. But the good thing for me is my saving grace is that I have a lot of value in my work. So all it takes is for me to sell a couple and I'm back. So there's months and months like that where I'm just doing my thing. But then this is life and you need to sell. You need to make money to sustain a lifestyle and eat. There's these things that you have to pay for. But I don't want to get a regular job. So there's times where I'm like, shit,
Maybe I should get a job.
yeah, and these ideas pop in
Comes
my
to your
head,
mind,
and I know someone who I really respect and I love, and he's a great guy. And one time I was trying to draw inspiration from him. He was interviewing, he was getting interviewed, like doing almost like a TED Talk kind of thing. And he's like, "Hey, Sal, you have a question for me?" And I go, "Yeah. What do you do when you get stuck?" Thinking he's gonna give me, an answer like, "Oh, well, this is my process." He goes, "You don't ever get stuck.
You just keep going.
You keep going." And it made sense, but at the time I was like, dude, give me a little something else. Give me a little something else of like, okay, you got to maybe reset, recalibrate, go back to the drawing board, do something. I don't know. He goes, "You don't ever get stuck. That never happens. Da, 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 da." And I'm just like, well, I'm human like anybody. I bleed. Yeah. So even though I have this strong mental fortitude or whatever you call it, I'm just like, you know what? I sometimes say to myself, shit, not recently, but about a year ago, I had that thought into my head. And then I was like, no, fuck that. I'm going down on the ship. I'm not letting this. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna force myself to push through. So there's moments where it gets quiet, but on Instagram, I'll keep pushing, posting old photos, and then people are like, "Man, you're crushing it." And at the time, I was in a really dark spot because I was like, just kind of like, man, what's going on?
You can't stop.
No.
You're way up there and. You can't stop. You stop, you die, man.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I can promise you stop, you die. Not discouraging you, but we are there, man. We all go to these ups and downs. But
yeah, for sure.
The one thing that people are always looking for is, what is the next potion? You go to the store, to the Europe, and say, "Oh, you want to be healthy? This potion. You want to see that potion." Most of the people they go for the money potion.
Right. Right.
That's not gonna happen. You gotta work your butt off.
Yep.
You gotta just keep grinding, keep hustling, keep going forward, keep punching, and that's how it's gonna happen for you. I know, me too. You don't know how many times I said, "I want to throw the towel. I'm done, dude." You gotta get yourself out of that mindset. And I go back to, as you said, listen to our podcast, audio, whatever. Go back to gym or motivate yourself.
Yes.
You gotta get yourself out of that kind of temporary mindset, negative mindset.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to be okay.
No, for sure.
Eventually it's going to be okay.
Sure.
Do you have any shows that are coming up? Like anything like a gallery, anything?
Rami now.
Do you do anything like that?
I did a show about 4 years ago. It was called Visual Noise, and it was like a live drumming to like music while I painted. It was fun. I had a nice turnout. It was a solo show. The next solo show I want to do, we'll say like probably a year from now. I want it to be called Dark Castle, and I want it to be like a cool interactive show. There's a comedian by the name of Andrew Schultz. Do you know who that is?
I heard.
He came out with a Netflix special, and he like even the intro. It was a comedy show, but he made it like you're going to see a rapper or musician / comedian, because he had Bruce Buffer intro him.
Oh.
It was just cool. Like the whole setup was just fun. And then even his tours, he had like when he would go to LA, he had like a bunch of lowriders come out. When he went to New York, he would just do something different every show. And I found that so cool because people are sitting there watching a comedy show, but he made it like kind of interactive and fun. So I kind of want to do the same thing with an art show. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it or what I want to involve, but I want another art form involved. with my art, but it's like very interactive where people can kind of move around, and then maybe they're sitting down for like some kind of cool art show where I'm still working out the
Do you do
kinks, so.
painting for celebrities too, if somebody asks you?
I've been reached out to by Snoop Dogg's management to do a piece commemorating his 50th, which is, there's that number again, 50.
Yeah.
That was a year ago. That's on my Instagram. I have literal receipts. Ron White for his tequila company.
Wow.
And then Terry Crews, who was really cool and blasted me out on his Instagram page. So that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
That's good.
And he can draw. I don't know if you know. He can draw like a motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah. He's very talented.
Where do you get your ideas, your imagination? Because I'm kind of artist, not like you, but I do calligraphy. But you close your eyes, and then what comes to your mind? This is always interesting for me. When you paint, do you already have something in your mind, or you just said, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do"? You go to the moment.
Yeah.
You grab a brush. You do the foundation, and after that, you say, "I want to do this."
Yeah.
How that comes to life?
So I would say it's half and half. Half is sometimes I'm like, I have an idea for something. This is what I'm going to do. And I just attack it. The other half is I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. And then I go, that's why I was talking about the Muse earlier. Because there's a certain creative.
Usually those come out great.
Yes. Well, yes, they can. A lot of them do. Some of them I have to paint over. And I'm not afraid to paint over pieces. I've done it several times. But there's something called the Muse. It's a idea of, if you don't know what to do creatively, if you don't get moving, you'll never create whatever you're destined to create. The point is to go start moving or start writing or start playing your riff, and the muse will come to you. And then that's when it hits. And certain pieces, I just was moving paint, and like the fifth piece was this piece. And it sold not too long ago. And everybody was trying to buy it after I was done with it. So my point is, those 5 pieces weren't the best, but I was moving, just trying to create something. And then the muse came to me, and I was like, I want to do a JFK piece, because I was listening to something about JFK, and then it just hit me. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, don't try to draw JFK. Paint it in your style. Stay with what you know, what you love to do. Make it a South famous. You know what I mean? Like, put your mark on it. Don't try to don't try to be something you're not. So, and then I just created it. So it's half and half. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going with it, and then other times.
Which one is easier?
Well, of course, when you know what you want to do, you're just like that one, that piece, that Venus piece. I knew Jean-Michel Basquiat has a piece called Venus, and if you look at the picture, it says Venus in the top corner.
Yeah.
The woman, or the whatever the sculpture piece is supposed to be, is a little more simpler. So what I did was, I was like, because I was looking at his documentary, and it inspired me to do a version of that. The colors, though, his are just the white. Yeah, go ahead. His background is white, and the woman is red, I believe, and the lettering is black, right? So if you see, I actually went gnarly on it. I put binary code in it, and then I put a skull, which is kind of like an abstract skull here. But that A and the woman are basically, it's my translation of his Venus piece. The binary code, the 100, all this other stuff, this is me. And what's funny is, he's got another famous piece, and the color base is this, and I didn't know that. Really? I just painted this.
You didn't know that?
If I could pull up my phone, if I still had it, the colors on his other piece, it's like a moose, I think, is almost exact. The background is this orange, and the coloring is almost exact to that one. And I didn't know I was doing that till I did it. So.
What is your favorite color?
Red.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's just the color. I don't know. It just pops.
Really?
Yeah, it's passion. I don't know.
Because I see a lot of colors.
Oh yeah. Red is my favorite color. But I think that's my superhero. My superhero mark is that I'm good with color, and I work fast.
How long did it take you to do this?
That took me a day.
Really? No way.
Yeah. That not all the time. When I take more than 2 weeks, my girl was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, hey, chill out, man. All right, chill out.
Man, this is amazing.
Thank you.
And if the listeners and the viewers, they're gonna order something, where do they have to go?
So the best way to
do you take like a special request?
Oh, for sure. The only thing is, I will say, is that I had a website for years. I got no traction on it. No traction whatsoever. People would look at it, and it had pricing or like contact me for pricing. Like if I was a pie chart, 90% came from Instagram. The other 8% were referrals. And then the other 2% might have been from the website. And I was just like, why am I messing with this website? And I can just focus on Instagram, and then I leave it on open. Anybody can write anybody. And if you don't need Instagram to look up, you can look it up on your computer, on your laptop. So most people
most of your work, the gallery is on Instagram too.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is, like, people make their Instagram page a gallery, like mine kind of is, but it's also a window into my personality, and who I am. But less of that and more so about the art. But just, I noticed when I looked at other artists' Instagram page, if it's just all pictures of their artwork, it gets boring. Like, people want to see like the me with the celebrity, with the art piece. It just adds, it's the sizzle for the steak, right? But yeah, so Instagram, you can direct message me there, and it also has on my Instagram page. If you just look at it and you can't DM me because you're not on Instagram, you get, not saying you, but you know, in general, there's my emails on there. So, and then anybody can DM me or email me, and I can send them my number, and we talk.
I have one question I always ask, the people who come to the show, is this: do you have any advice for the people that they are stuck right now? They don't know what they want. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. No direction. They are stuck. What do you suggest or advise for them?
Rami, there's no such thing as getting stuck. I'm joking. I'm just teasing.
It's just.
I would say honestly, just
because you've been there, man.
Been there. Yeah. I would say honestly, just push through it. Like, whatever that means to you. Like, for me, pushing through it is just continually working on pieces, because I know over time people are going to find value in the other ones that I did, or one's going to hit where somebody's going to see it, and then it gets blasted out everywhere, and then all of a sudden I have all this work now, to sell, and I'm getting noticed everywhere, and all of a sudden it just catches fire. That's what pushing through means to me. And even if I run out of money or whatever, if I see that sign on the road, I'll take it, paint over it, flip it over, do some cool stuff, flip it back over, do some other cool shit, and just keep going. I've done stuff on used pieces of wood and stuff like that. So, like, if your version of pushing through it is doing gigs in front of 2 people, doing writing, nobody looking at your writings, but you keep submitting them, just keep going, because every time there's a no, you're getting closer to a yes, right? So there's a famous picture of Travis Scott, and the big rapper, and he's performing at some park or somewhere, and it's like 4 people watching him like this. And then that was like 2005, and then it says 2012, and he's like on top of a stage, and it's just all you see is people, just people. And it was like, what, 2005 to 2014 or whatever. That's almost 10 years. You know what I mean? So that, I'm sure he felt stuck a lot, and he just kept performing like he was performing for Madison Square Garden. So whatever that means to whoever.
Your consistency and perseverance, man, is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And you are a motherfucker stubborn. And
I'll give you that. My mother would second that motion, sir.
I know that you're stubborn as fuck, which is I love it. You gotta have a tough skin. But
thanks, man.
If you want to send any message to your mom and dad, what would you tell them right now?
Pero sobre todo, y mucho, mucho, mucho amor. It means above all else, a lot of love.
I love it, man. I love it. I know you came all the way from Dallas. You must be tired. And, I am so happy that I came down here, man. We have this chat.
Yeah,
really.
man.
We're
going to be friends for a long time,
I know,
Rami.
man. I can see it. And I have another amazing, amazing friend that I can count on, reach out to, and pick up a phone and call and have fun. And, many years to come, man.
Oh, yeah.
This is just the beginning, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Have me back on when you blow the fuck up. Okay?
Oh, yeah. You're always going to be here, man.
All right,
the same to you. Thank you, buddy.
Sir. Thank you, Rami. You the man. Cheers.